You're listening to Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
Well, let's hope we get to the show today. Yesterday, if y'all were watching or saw the Facebook postings I put on there, we were right in the middle of a show, about 10 minutes into it with Lisa Boltonhouse and Cinefra SD, and boom, went dark. And first thing, Josh is going, it wasn't me. But today, we're going to hope that the lights stay on for Next Step Women's Center. Summer and Megan are here. We're going to talk about Christmas in July. We're going to talk about, you got that big event in October. Well, I like that event. I mean, it's great. And then they put you on a table with some nice lady who'll say, you want to give, don't you? Yes, I do. You'll put me with Lauren Bond because you know that, okay, here's Lauren, I can't say no to you.
I know, no one can say no.
You do that on purpose, So anyway, how y'all doing?
Doing great.
You want to talk about your latest venture there, the water diet?
Oh, yes, liquid diet. So much fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm on day 3.
Well, good for you. Robin's always trying to get me to drink more water, and I said, there's water in coffee, so it's good enough. But anyway, so we're going to talk about what's going on Saturday. We're going to talk about, at least I'm sure you already started planning for October.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm planning for next October, but yeah.
Are you already planning for next April's Walk for Life?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, next year is our 40th. So, next
got a
is
whole
40th
year.
anniversary. So, I've got a whole big, we're already praying about how to make that super awesome.
Yes.
It will be super awesome. It always is. Here, I'm going to do the ads, and we're also going to do the sharing and all this other business. So, thank you to Otto over at our place. I'll be there this week. Again, the men get together. We talk about the world's problems. We don't get very far. We talk about football after a while. College football, a lot of people think we talk about the Cowboys. There's nothing to talk about with the Cowboys. They stink, and they're going to stink, and that's all there's to it. Are you a Cowboys fan?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dear. I'm genetically a Cowboy fan, and it's like I say this every year. By golly, I'm not gonna watch the Cowboys, and there I am Sunday. I've been doing it since I was 5 years old, so I can't help myself. But anyway, training camp starts today, which who knows what happens. But anyway, you could see all this stuff over at Gina's Pizza. They got the TVs. They have the ball games on. I like going there during baseball season because they'll have the ball games on in the afternoon, and you can get yourself a pizza, have a beer, whatever. And it's always a great atmosphere. I like to do business over there because they provide a nice, quiet environment for you, and they don't bug you, and all this other stuff. They'll walk by, you good? Yeah, okay, good, and I'll come back later. But they don't, it's a good place to do uninterrupted business, so I like doing it over there. Also, thank you to Old Pro Roofing at John Williams, 817-734-2756. And it's a good time to get the roof inspected because I don't know it's going to rain in the next couple of weeks, but you don't want to find out in, early September your roof has a problem. So have John come out there and take a look, and he'll tell you what's going on with your roof. Either you're fine or you need some work or you need a new roof and whatever. And he's not going to go in there and go, oh, my stars, how have you survived without me? He'll tell you if your roof is in good shape or not. So, and they're local folks. That's important. I mean, I know a lot of guys, make a living by going through the neighborhoods and whatever else, and I get it, but you want to deal with local folks. So in case there's any issues or any concerns, you know where to find them. So there you go. Also, my buddy Jeff Kelly, 817-781-0546 with the Weathington Agency. He's going to help you with all your real estate needs here in the area. He was on a month ago, and we were talking about real estate, and he says that, Burleson's growing, nicely, but really what's blowing up is Godly and Joshua. And you serve people from those areas, right?
Absolutely.
Well, you maybe get more business, one way or the other. And, well, think of it as a greater opportunity to expand your fundraising network. There you go.
I like it.
But it's a good thing. But 817-781-0546 or Jeff at jeffkellyrealty.com. Also, our friend Tiffany Jane over at Local Life magazine that comes out, what is the date? The 22nd? In about 10 days. I believe it's going to be on banking services. So I know that my bank has changed from Independent Financial to South State, and that took some doing, but Tara Birch, I'm sorry, I always mispronounce her name. Tara Birch over there held my hand through it and all the stuff, and so there's minimal trouble. But had to get a new number. I've had the same bank account number for like 35 years, and now I had to get another one. So it gets imprinted on your brain. You just, Local Life magazine will come out in about a week, but if you want to see it now, locallifetx.com will have the latest issue. And my friend Al Warner over at Bass Printing and Consulting will get you your promotional items. Whatever y'all need for promotional items, hats and cups and pins and notepads and you name it. You could stamp your logo on it or whatever. I use them for my mailers, so I know it was good service. Call him at 817-616-8761 or at Alric, A-L-R-I-C-K, at bassprinting.com. He's also in Burleson. He's over at the Hub and he works out of that.
And he's just a nice guy.
You know Al.
Yeah.
Okay. He also goes to my church, so I see him on Sundays. And he's also, we know from the B&I group that you're now part of and all that. I missed last week's meeting. I was having a tooth removed. Oh. It's like B&I meeting, remove a toothache. It was 50-50. Anyway, no, it wasn't that bad, either one. But anyway, I'm going to give a shout out to somebody Jim Denton.
Yeah.
His crew pulled the tooth and all that. Good outfit. I highly recommend them if you're needing some dental work. It's a great atmosphere, and Jim's a nice guy.
Of course.
He was about a year younger than you.
A year younger than me.
Yeah. So you're both. He's 29.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Anyway, thanks, Al, for what you're doing. Also, here's something that's going on right now. The Texas Flood Relief over at Station 330. Jesse's got that working where you can donate. You go eat, and there's going to be a tab there for $5, $10, $12, whatever, and he'll match that. And it's going to go to Central Texas because that was about one of the most devastating things this state's endured and still enduring.
Absolutely.
I bet as mothers, y'all felt it.
Oh, my
Yes.
goodness.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop crying.
Yeah, same with Robin. And Robin, we don't know anybody, thank God, I suppose, that was involved in that, but it just tore her up for days, because she could just relate to what was going on. So thank you, Jesse, for being there for the community and for Central Texas. We got a couple of nonprofit ads at the end that we'll run through, but let's talk about y'all. Now, you got the big deal coming up, the Christmas in July. Tell us how that works.
So Christmas in July is this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Next Step, which we're kind of behind Chicken Express in Burleson, in front of Pathway, whatever landmark you need over there. But we have so many clients who take our prenatal and parenting classes. They're in there learning about potty training, about discipline, about how to handle finances. And as they take those classes, they earn bonus bucks so that they can come in and shop for items they need. Baby clothes, baby toys, toddler toys, sippy cups, all of those things. They earn bonus bucks so that they can shop. Well, it's really hard to keep that boutique stocked for them because we have about 200 clients or so who are just regularly taking classes. They're allowed to take 2 classes a week. That's $20 in bonus bucks a week. And they are coming in to get those items they need for their parents or for their kids. But if there's no toys or no clothes, then they're not getting them. And so this is kind of our big push to get as much as we can in to help last the next couple of months. I always hope that it'll last until Christmas, and it never does. Like, I have such high wishful thinking.
Oh, how did it be gone by September?
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And so if you want to come, we want everyone to come. Bring kids. Like, one of the things I've done with my kids is we'll go to Walmart. Everybody has $10. I mean, I'm not even buying expensive toys, but everybody has $10, $6, and they can buy a baby item, and then they bring it up there, and we'll have Santa Claus there, and he...
Not a Santa Claus, the Santa
The
Claus.
The Santa Claus. And he will... he played like paper rock scissors with them. He had a ukulele last year. Like, we have it's not your wait in line and tell Santa what you want. It's like, come have a good time with Santa and get a snow cone. And the snow cones are free. The Burleson Rotary sponsors making sure Santa can get there. He needs travel, funding for that. And then Burleson Area Midday Rotary sponsors our snow cones and treats.
Midday Rotary, what day do y'all meet?
Tuesdays.
What time?
Noon.
See, I'm doing this.
That's what I'm like. When I come hang out with you, I'm either late or not there. So.
Oh, okay.
You could do the Friday morning, 7 o'clock in the morning.
No. Anyway, I only acknowledge when 7 o'clock a day. I am not a morning person. A lot of these guys, they get up at 5:30 to pray, and I'm like, God's available at 5:30 in the afternoon too. What's the
He
deal?
is there both times.
Yes, that's right. So what's this getting up early business? But that's what they do, and that's what my wife does, and I'm better for it. But still, my goodness, that's why when I do this breakfast thing, I talk about. These men are all peppy and up and at 'em. I'm like, give me more coffee. Anyway, so you're going to have this, basically drive by, you drop off a new toy, okay? Because I get that asked every now and then. Is like recycled toy, used toy. Even if it's gently used, well, then give it to
Rachel's Hope.
Rachel's Hope, right,
Yes.
right. But as far as
For this, it's all new baby items.
Well,
In
you say
our
baby, how old?
all the way to 3 years old.
Okay.
And we'll take up to 5T in clothing because kids grow at different paces and things like that. And if mom's taking classes because she just had a baby, but she has a 5-year-old, well, baby might be wearing hand-me-downs and she might really need something for that kid who's still in a 5T. And so we'll take that whole span because we want to support families the best that we can.
But so basically, though, we're not talking about complex toys here. Don't bring up, nothing electronic, certainly, but, just Fisher Price type toys.
Yeah, everything Fisher Price. You can get those, the ring stackers. You can go find whatever your kid liked as a baby the most, but teethers. And that's what most of those toys, whether you're at Walmart or TJ Maxx or Ross, you can find the things that we need for a really reasonable price, $15 or less, or there's some good discounts.
Oh, sure.
Out in the world.
Oh yeah, you can go to Walmart or Target, or I see toys at HEB. So
Absolutely.
Throw something in the basket as you're getting your groceries, and you're good to go. I don't remember what I played with when I was 3. Certainly, my first remembrance of a
But
toy.
your wife remembers what your kids played with when they were 3.
I'm trying to think of
remember
what they played
my
with.
kids when I'm at the store, I'll be like, "Oh, remember when you?" And they're like, "Mom, no." But I do remember some of those toys, and it's sweet for the women. It's sweet to shop for those things.
Remember the little see and say? The cow says moo.
I don't know if we ever had that. I think the first toy I remember Hayden playing with was those big Duplo blocks.
Yeah.
And it was like 3.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Those are great. Blocks are great. We really, aside from a couple of those things that may make a noise that are small, most of the things that we're asking for are not electronic. They're just we want, play is so important for development. And we know that toys are a luxury for a lot of our families. And so we want to be a place where they can have the toys they need so that the babies can learn fine motor skills and gross motor skills and logic skills and all the things that play teaches whenever you're that age.
With Sarah, she played with dolls and stuff like that, and had a tea set with stuffed animals and things like that. But the thing that I wanted our kids to have were toys that made them use their imagination, as opposed to them being passive about it. My first toy that I remember playing with were Lincoln Logs and Tinker Toys, and so it was great for doing it. And for Hayden, it was Thomas the Tank Engine and all that track. And
Yes.
it wasn't cheap, and Sarah had similar stuff where they had to actually engage with what they were doing as opposed to just watching television or whatever.
Absolutely.
And that kind of thing. So that's what I would endorse for my vast listening audience to come by on Saturdays. Something that the kids can manipulate, right?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, because I don't know, it is a fight these days to keep the kids off the screens, isn't it?
Well, and I even think, I would like to think that the kids that we're serving, they're younger, and so even on screens, their attention span is low. They're, when you're 1 and 2, you're naturally compelled to move and to manipulate and to touch everything and to lick everything. And, and so that's really the age group that we're looking at.
Yeah. How long y'all been doing this Christmas in July?
This will be our 3rd year.
Yeah, I know this was relatively new. I think you were on the show first time it was coming on. It was like a new deal.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff. And so you'll get Santa out there, but he won't be wearing the red suit in this
No,
heat.
he has a very classy summer suit.
I know, but that I feel badly for him because if I don't shave more often than I do in the summer, my face starts to kind of get a little itchy. And, and that poor guy, he has a full-on beard. And
well, I'll tell you, we do keep Santa in the lobby, so you have to go inside to see Santa because he can't handle Texas temperatures.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure he'll have a bright shirt, kind of maybe similar to this or whatever. But I just good for him, But this has been, I know, a pretty successful thing for y'all. And I've heard a couple other outfits are going to duplicate it, like our friends over at House of Hope here in Crowley did theirs last week.
Nice.
And they did their Christmas in July. It was a week ago today in the evening. And maybe they got the idea from y'all. I don't know, but I know that other outfits are replicating this little event because it's a big deal.
And it's helpful.
It
Summer
is helpful.
is a hard time for, as you know, talking to nonprofits for nonprofits and things like that. And so especially the food pantries and stuff, I imagine.
Oh, I got a whole spiel on that. Next Monday, Debbie Beeman from Promises is coming over, and I don't want to take all your time with that, but Rob and I, it's laid on our hearts to participate more fully in Promises, right? And so we go there beginning of the month after a trip to HEB. And we thought, well, here's some stuff. This ought to last a couple of days. And it was gone by 10 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah.
We got an email or text from a Sunday school friend of ours that works there. And she showed us the picture before and after.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy mackerel. And so, all the pantries are really hurting. And, financially, they're kind of scuffling along, but it's the food donations because the demand is so much higher.
Right. And times are tough.
Y'all don't really have seasonal demand, though, do you? I mean, do you have like summer more busy than winter or anything like that?
No, it's year round in our boutique. And one of the things, when you're buying the essentials that you have to have for a baby, like diapers and formula and baby water, those things you can't negotiate on not buying those. And so there's no money left for the toys, which, like Megan said, is so important for their development.
Well, and I do think that one of the things that keeps our clients connected to our classes is because when they take a class, they earn a pack of diapers, they earn bonus bucks, they have access to formula if they need it. A lot of our clients can get formula through WIC. And so if we have a stash of formula and if people need it, it's there. I don't think that's like a main thing that we provide.
But we will.
But if they need it, we will make it happen. It's just not always as needed because WIC usually takes care of it. But that keeps them connected year round, where they're making sure they take their classes so that they can get their diapers, so that they can have access to the wipes and baby clothes and all the things that they get, and even toiletries. One of the things, it's not on the list, but our shampoo and baby soaps go fast. They just go real fast. I'll tell you, HEB we did a tour with Cheyenne from there recently, and she was like, "What, your toiletry thing that it gets empty the fastest?" So she went shopping and filled it all up, and now I'll tell you, it didn't last long, like you said. But those are the things people are like, "How can I get the things that I need on the budget that I have with the resources that I have?" And
Well, we also went by Dollar General and picked up a lot of shampoos and toothbrushes and toothpaste. It's cheap, all right? And it's like it evaporated within 48 hours, it was gone. And, they all need canned food because budget cuts in the state and national. I was going to talk a little politics later, and it'd be my opinion. I'm not going to drag you all into it, but there's some things in that bill that concern me. That was the bill that was passed about 3 weeks ago. Because when I saw some of the aspects of it, I said, well, this ain't so bad, this ain't so bad, but this ain't so good either over here and this other part. So we'll talk. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I know that y'all are political free and that kind of thing. You'll take money from even if Nancy Pelosi came by and gave you $1, you'd take it. And probably a piece of your mind with it.
Yeah, I was going to say she might get a lecture, but yes, I will take it.
Just thank you for the $1. Now sit down.
Yes,
and I got something.
Let's talk.
Yeah. But anyway, as far as the timing, it's 9 to 11 over at your clinic, and therefore, it's a drive-through, I guess. But also, if the kids are with you, get out and have them see Santa.
Yeah, you can absolutely park. Like it says snow cone, grab a free snow cone, but the lady also makes these really nice lemonades. So if you're like, I'm not a snow cone person, but I want to stop by, drop something off, and have something nice to drink, like. We got some fruity lemonades. It's a good time, but no one has to stay a long time. Like we're there.
No open bar.
Come and go. No, only open lemonade.
Open lemonade. Okay,
Yes.
just making sure. Okay.
And snow cones.
And snow cones. Okay. Well, that way we'd be a different clientele, I'd imagine. But
Right.
here's my toy. Where's my shot? But no, that won't be so good. Anyway, that's a really good thing. But this is just one part of what y'all are doing.
Yeah.
This also, isn't, like we say, is an ongoing thing. And you have some data here. I believe you sent Josh. And there we are. This is from January 1st, rather.
Yes.
583 pregnancy tests.
Yeah. January through June. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So these are half-year marks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonograms 358, STD tests 67. Look, over 91,000 diapers, and prenatal parenting class clients 249. Are these numbers rising, falling, or about the same for you?
I think they're about the same. I think that we kind of have had a steady go as we look at our website traffic and this traffic and everything. The year to year, I think there was a season when our numbers were really growing, especially right after the Dobbs decision. But I think we've kind of hit a steady. This is where we're at.
Yeah.
Now I know you're not a medical provider, so you really don't. You're not involved with Medicaid. But are a lot
We
of your,
actually do have someone on Fridays
okay.
that comes and helps navigate getting parents signed up for Medicaid and CHIP and all of that.
Okay, that's great to know.
Yeah, we have someone. They're from Cooks, and we partner with them, and they and which is great.
Yeah, but how many of your clients are on Medicaid, do you think?
I don't have a percentage, but I would say it's a high number. I think
more than one.
In order, so even we're pro-life, and we kind of track like who, what everyone's looking for and things like that. But I'll tell you, a lot of ours who maybe they're not in a worst case scenario, but they're financially in a rough situation, they're still going to come see us because they need their proof of pregnancy for Medicaid, whether they're using our help to sign up or not. They need that form that says, she's definitely pregnant.
Well, that's one of the concerns I had about the bill is the Medicaid. I'm not going to debate. Well, this is why it happened or whatever else. But there is no question there will be people impacted by it. They talk about people being removed off the Medicaid forms that don't belong there. Okay, fine. But there's a lot of people that need it that might get caught up in the backwash, and that's my opinion about it as well. Is that I was going to do a show on that, and that's when my tooth started going out. I was going to do it last Tuesday, and by Monday I could barely get through the day. So I'm going to do it in a couple of weeks. But it's there are people that are on Medicaid that don't belong, but there's also people that do belong, and I'm afraid they're going to get caught up in this broad brush here.
Yeah,
and that's concerning to me.
And my 5-year plan. Someday I would love to offer. That just first trimester, second trimester, that gap, prenatal care until they can get into a doctor and get on Medicaid and things like that. Or if they can't get on Medicaid, but it just at least in the beginning know that their baby's okay and all of that. So that I am hoping to do that. I also hope in the next 5-year plan is to do women exams. Which is
like full-on doctor. Like you talk about well women, you talk about including
like pap smears.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Things like that. And so, I know that was a dream of Jane's, and I have that dream as well. And so, it's just that takes funding, that takes people, it takes more room,
takes funding.
Takes
just say funding every other. Paying
Just
for a
takes
doctor's
funding, yes.
expensive, but yes.
So I'm hoping that is something that we can do in the future that can kind of help with that.
We talk about this bill. There's a couple other aspects of this bill that might relate to y'all. For one thing, they're going to increase the child credit, so that may be of some help to your clients, on their taxes. Now, probably, I'm going to guess, the majority of your clients are probably not paying much in income tax because their incomes aren't that high. But they're still going to get credits and earned income tax credits and stuff like that. But this is supposed to increase that a little bit. Also, the famous Trump accounts. You know, when I told you about it before the show, you're like, what? You know, basically, they're going to put $1,000 towards the kids' college fund, but that's the name of it. It's officially known as the Trump account. And I thought, I wonder if 18 years from now they're going to say, "Who is Trump? Who's this guy?" You know, I doubt it. You know, and how did he get elected 9 times? You know, he's 102 and he's still a president. Somebody out there's head just exploded. Anyway, but you know, there's some things in that bill that affect y'all, and then we can talk about the defunding of Planned Parenthood. What really got to me is the day after it's passed, some judge in Massachusetts just said, "Nope, you're going to fund Planned Parenthood," and they didn't even bother with a hearing. Mm-hmm. And does that? But y'all really don't work in competition with them, do you? As such,
not really,
yeah.
Especially here in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
since they don't perform abortions in Texas
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
But they still mail out the pills.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and so
and that does happen in Texas. We actually had someone that had the pill and changed their mind,
mm-hmm.
and she's like, I don't know what to do with this, but I don't want it laying around my house, and so brought it to us, and so yeah, it is being mailed here in Texas.
Yeah, well, that's again a topic for another show.
Yeah.
But I just know that there's certain things about it, this bill, that it's meant to encourage having children. And it was really interesting. I'm doing my morning reading, and there's yesterday and today in the New York Times and then also in National Review, there were articles about how we're actually having population decline
mm-hmm.
in the United States. And it would seem to me that we should be encouraging as many of these parents as possible to have these kids. Mm-hmm. Not just for their own sake, for the reasons we would support it, but also, it really, they're talking about within 20 years some real serious economic repercussions of having a low birth rate, like Japan's going through, mm-hmm. or China went through that stupid one-child policy thing, and now they're paying a serious price because they have this old elderly population and not enough people to support them. And that's what's going to happen in the United States. So I would think we need to do everything you can to encourage people to have these kids. And we're talking about also the impact it's having on schools. My elementary school back in Plano was closed down this year. You think Plano,
mm-hmm.
it's booming, right?
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, but who's moving to Plano is
Business
not
people who aren't having kids.
Right, or they just have one kid.
Yeah.
Because it's expensive also.
Yeah, it's so expensive to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's some serious repercussions for having a declining population growth, which we're experiencing. They said we should see the economic impact on us in about 2040, which is closer than you think, right?
I was going to say, that's right around the corner.
Yeah. And this is what happens with Japan. They're one of the most elderly populations, and they have very low birth rates, and therefore their whole social security system for them is in serious jeopardy. So I would think we need to encourage people as much as possible. Have these kids,
Well, and that's where, I'm so proud of what we do, walking
mm-hmm.
alongside ththese families going,
mm-hmm.
hey, you know what? You can do this, and we're going to help you, and we're going to be there to support you in any way that we can.
Mm-hmm. And, having a kid is not just expensive, but it's such an obligation and all that. But, you have 4 kids, and you have 3?
I have 3.
And a grandchild.
I have 5 grandkids.
Well, I thought recently, but you have 5 now. And I bet you don't regret a single one of them.
Oh, my goodness, no.
Well, this is personal, and it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
But when I met my husband, I was like, we're going to have 2 kids. That's it, And
mm-hmm.
he was like, I want 7. Right? And so I brought it to the Lord, but there was a pastor who was like, I've sat alongside a lot of people at their end of life time, and not a single one has said, I wish I hadn't had that one kid. Like every single one of them are grateful for all the kids that they have. And I'll tell you, as a mom of 4 who, my kids are about 2 years apart, I probably spent more than 10 years pregnant or nursing. Like that's a long time of my life. But my kids are amazing. They're a blessing, and they're fun, and there's hard seasons with all of it, but I wouldn't change any of it. And I think, and that's part of why I serve at Next Step, is because I know that motherhood is hard, but I know that it's so worth it. And it's a call of God on your life to raise somebody, and He has more than enough in provision for it, more than enough in encouragement, more than enough in rest. It's just so worth it.
It is, and I'm older than y'all. My kids are older than y'all.
What?
Well, yeah, your kid. How old is your oldest child?
Colton is 31.
Okay, mine's 33, and my daughter's 30. And and not every day's been a holiday, and we've gone through dark times.
Yeah.
If they said, okay, you can rewind and just skip all this and not have children, would you do it? No, I would have those again, even knowing what difficulties may come ahead. Because no, it wouldn't even be a thought, and I definitely wouldn't be a thought in Robin's head. But I always encourage these people to have their children, because I know that there's going to be some serious bumps in the road, but there's a lot to be said for having those kids. As not just because it's the right thing to do and all that, but because as a parent and as a person, it really helps you grow. It helps you have a full life, you might say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now that my kids are adults, we struggled a lot. And I think that's why I can relate to so many of these families, because we struggled financially when my kids were little. And now that adults, we talk about, some of the things we kind of had to do to piece things together to facilitate life and finances and things like that. And my kids have no clue. They're like, really? Y'all really? They have no clue how much we struggled. But I look back, I'm like, gosh, how many sleepless nights did I get? Like, oh my gosh, how am I going to feed them tomorrow? And but they just have memories of growing up and being a part of a family and having, some wonderful memories. And you got to take that.
Well, as I got older, as a parent, I was reminded, I guess, or thought more deeply about how my parents sacrificed, because when I grew up, when I was younger, it wasn't like we were destitute, but there was not a lot of extra money in the house at all. My dad provided, but we didn't have a lot of extras until he started moving up in his career. And then by the time I got into high school, we had some of the extras. But when I was young, I wore hand-me-down pants. I remember one of my favorite toys at the time, we were talking about toys earlier, my dad got from a junkyard and refurbished. It was a little rocking horse thing.
Oh,
or another one he got was like a little pedal tractor, that kind of thing. And he painted it and fixed it and oiled it and, those kind of things. And, so I would definitely encourage your clients, they may be thinking, I may have made a big mistake or something like that. Children aren't a mistake.
No, they're a blessing.
They're not a mistake. I mean, it's like the timing may not have been the best, or you may not have thought about it, which would be the best time. But, they always, that old joke, is there ever a good time to have kids? I mean, if you say, well, I'm going to wait till this happens and this happens and this happens, by the time those things happen, other things have happened, and you're going to put it off even further, because you were a very young mother, weren't you?
Yeah, we had only been married for a year whenever we found out we were pregnant with our first one. So I was like 23 when I had my first.
Was that the plan, or is like,
no?
I would like to have been part of that conversation.
Yeah, no, I was going into my last year and a half at DBU, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a baby now, and we were fine in a lot of ways, but it was not the timing that I had in mind. But, and I say this all the time, kids who are, young and they find out they're pregnant and they have college, like, y'all, online school, like there's so many options. And while I was pregnant, I went to DBU and climbed the hill with the big old belly. Yeah. And after I had the baby, I did some hybrid classes. I did some online classes. I did all the things, but I still was able to get my degree without a problem. And in fact, being married and having a baby meant that I was eligible for more financial aid. So don't do that because of that. Yes. But just know that there were more resources because of the situation.
And you have your master's.
I do now have my master's.
I could just imagine, walking those hills and you're pregnant, you're waving a ring around. Okay, it's not what you think.
You gotta hold it up.
It's all good.
I got the ring by spring first.
Yeah, that's right.
It's fall now.
I haven't had any pregnant students, because I teach freshmen mostly, and then my class I got in the fall is going to be mostly sophomores and juniors. Now I've had a couple of married women and a married man in my class, and I've also had older students. Several times I've had students in their 40s and 50s, but I talk about like your typical age of college kids. But I had married women when I was in high school, and And it wasn't for the reasons a lot of people think. I know 2 or 3 occasions I had a married woman in my class because her husband was in the military. And, she was a senior. He was just graduated. He's now in the Marines. And they got married for the benefits, of course. And I know they love each other, and they're still married even now. But I'm just saying, there's always, I guess, get back to what we're talking about, is having a child is never going to be convenient, but it's always going to be worth it. Okay. And even the parents of special needs kids will tell you the same thing. That, said, because, having a special needs child really does put a lot of extra pressure on parents. But I haven't met one yet that said, I wish I never had this kid.
Right.
They just said, this is what God had for me, and I'm content with that.
Yeah. The
best way to put it. But I'm glad that y'all are around, because I know that it wasn't like young women confided to me at all, because I'm a man and all this other stuff, but they would confide sometimes with their female teachers or with the female counselors. And I knew on a couple occasions what they were confiding about, and they were scared to death.
Yeah.
Because they see all the things that could happen, the poverty, or, not be able to pursue any kind of life and all this other stuff. If a young woman came to me and wanted, started hinting around that was happening, I would send them directly to a female counselor. I didn't need that. That it wasn't appropriate for me, but it did happen.
Yeah.
So.
Our mission statement is to empower families and affirm life by providing care, love, and support through Jesus Christ. But that is like one of my main goals, is that everybody who comes to our center leaves feeling hopeful, first and foremost, but also empowered. That is the coolest feeling when I see a mom walk out with her shoulders a little straighter and like, okay, I can do this, and I have support, and I'm not alone.
I would imagine, though, there are days when what you hear and what you deal with and the conversations you've had in counseling, whatever, it can be a burden. Does that happen sometimes?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I've spent sleepless nights before just thinking, my heart hurting and burdened for some of our clients.
Yeah, it's something in particular. And not, I know that must be the tougher part of the job. How do y'all cope with that?
Prayer. And just loving on each other. And we start our morning, every morning, in prayer. And we keep everything confidential, so we don't name names.
Even amongst each other?
Even amongst each other.
Yeah, okay. We'll refer to them as client and give them an initial.
Okay.
But unburdening that with each other is helpful. Making sure that we're not taking it home, even though you do sometimes. But just really, leaving it at the foot of the cross is all we can do.
One of the things, whenever I first started, that one of our coworkers had continually said is like, you can't replace the Holy Spirit. The work that God does, the work that the Holy Spirit does on a heart, the provision, like we can't physically actually truly be God or Jesus to any of these people. We can be love in the moment. We can meet them where they are with what we have. There's a list of all the things we can do, and those will meet certain needs, but there's a whole other part that the Lord has to do the work. Yeah. And so it's really important that all of those other things we're laying before the throne and letting him be God in their situation, whether they know God or not, because he can work on behalf of a lost person. He can minister to their heart. He can soften their heart. He can draw them to him in a way that there's nothing I can say in a lot of situations that would truly bring the life change that the Holy Spirit can.
Yeah. Well, that to me to be the hardest part of the job. And I've talked to several of your nonprofit friends, and that's the hardest part of their job, that and the fundraising. That's another thing. I mean, that's not trivial. I mean, fundraising is a 24/7 job, isn't it? And in the summertime, sometimes people forget, I guess. I know that you don't have food drives in the summertime, so the pantries are hurting. You also, I would imagine, if you talk about seasonal, I thought most babies seem to be born in the spring and summer. But I'm just guessing.
Number one month for birthdays is September.
Oh, well, like my wife's. You know,
But you got to think what was 9 months before September.
I know. Cold weather, I get it. Yeah. No, her birthday is in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
No, a couple months, rather. I'm sorry, September. Speaking of a couple months now, September 18th is at National Giving Day. I've been telling other people it's the 25th until Lisa Boldinghouse in our very abbreviated show yesterday told me, no, it's the 18th. So Otto doesn't know this yet, but we're going to invade Gina's. I just got to get a hold of him, which is tough. But we're all going to be there, of course, and we're going to have a couple of newbies, I guess. That's my favorite show of the year. It isn't just because I'm doing something nice and all this other stuff. It's just to watch you all interact with each other and to know I live in that kind of community. It's a real blessing. And I would invite people, even if they're not connected with y'all or other groups, just come by, have pizza, and watch this in action. You know,
Oh, that would be fun.
yeah, just to see, what kind of community we have here.
Yeah.
Because not all communities are blessed like this.
Right.
You know, I don't know why we are, but we are.
We are.
Yeah, and that's how we are. Let's talk about that October event.
Yes, so it's our gala. We have it every year. It'll be October 9th at 6 p.m. at the Doubletree on Alta Mesa.
The multi-named hotel, right?
Yes, yeah. Today it's the Doubletree. No, it's been the Doubletree since we've started.
All right, I'm going to put this on my calendar. You say 9th? It's a
October
Thursday?
9th, Thursday night,
Yeah.
6 p.m. The doors will open. The theme is Glimmer of Hope. It's going to be
There
sparkly.
might be some sparkles and
Yeah.
sequins.
Glimmer
No.
of hope. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
The guys, you can wear whatever you want. Girls, if you want, this is your moment to be sparkly. We've already got sparkly outfits and it's so fun. It's gonna be a really fun one. We have a really powerful speaker named Stephen Holland. He is a pro-life advocate, a worship leader, but his story is so intentionally connected to the pro-life movement and heart that every life matters, that no matter the situation of your conception or any of those things, like God has a purpose for your life, and his story is really powerful.
I've heard him personally tell a story, but I watched the YouTube video many times, and it doesn't matter how many times I've seen it. I cry every time. It's so powerful.
So bring a tissue.
Bring
Yeah,
a tissue.
you strike me as somebody who cries in movies and commercials and all that.
Hey, listen, I cry at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
I'm crying because I'm watching it.
Yes, I do. When the Rockettes open it, and I start crying, and my kids make fun of me.
I would too. So,
That's hilarious.
I know, but anyway, I remember last year's speaker, and I forget his name, but he was from Florida.
Yes, Dr. Lyle.
Yeah, and it was a great show and
Yeah.
everything. And by the time he's done talking, he's like, "Here's my wallet."
Yes, that's the
But
goal.
no,
But
no. But what cracks me up is that Justin and Lauren sitting beside me, Justin Bond and Lauren Bond, and he said, "And now the person at your table do this." Then I go, and he just looks at me like, "And cop it up, bro." Thanks a lot.
I love Justin.
Yeah, I know. Is he on the board still?
he is on the
yes.
board,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and same with is Daniel on the board. Daniel Basden.
No,
No.
but they've already sent us their sponsorship for the event.
Yeah.
They're still intentional givers and they
Well.
support us. Yes.
Oh, I know he's on the board for the McConnell's mission down in Guatemala.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all that. But as far as the board members, who is your president?
Sandy Tucker.
Okay. Well, I know her sister, Krisha Basham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She Sandy is
You didn't know that?
retired
No.
from the
You
news.
didn't?
saw my face go, wait, what?
You didn't know that?
Yeah,
No,
that's
no.
her sister.
No, Krisha.
Sister-in-law.
You remember Krisha from
Yeah.
school.
Yes.
Right. I don't know if you had her or not, but
I didn't, but I remember her.
yeah. And she, went on to other things and administration, whatever else. But no, that's her sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Sandy Tucker was my kid's music teacher until she retired recently. But she's wonderful. Her
She's
heart is
wonderful.
big.
Well, that's good. And I know that serving on a board can be kind of tough, though, because you're having to make hard decisions.
Yes.
And because you know that every dollar that you have to allocate for X is not going to go to Y, and somebody's going to be affected by that dollar not being spent in Y.
Right.
And so it's hard, And it sounds like you have a pretty good board.
I
though.
have an amazing board.
Yeah. But if I would say, okay, here's some money or whatever, what's the first thing you'll need right now?
The boutique items is really, again, it just gets depleted so quickly.
And clothes are included. Now, I know when you're a little kid, you don't want clothes, you want toys, but if you're a parent, you want clothes.
Yes, yeah. They grow out of clothes so
I'll
quickly.
say we always need both. We need baby clothing and we need baby items. And I would say we get a lot of onesies that are just like, the short sleeve with the legs out. But I would encourage, if you're shopping for clothing, to do something like, if you're going to buy a onesie, buy the pants that go with it. Maybe even get the sleeper sets, or not just like a onesie, because kids need more than just that to, go out in the world.
Oh yeah.
But I'll say that the hardest thing to keep stocked is that boutique, and so anything for it would be so helpful.
Our friend Darren Ash says hello from Cleveland. He's a pretty consistent listener. And do they have an outfit like this in Cleveland?
They do. They do have a pregnancy center in Cleveland.
Cleveland Pregnancy Center, and it's in downtown. Yeah.
Y'all work together sometimes?
We do. Yeah.
We actually put together, with them and with Rich Hooper at 88.3 do the honor event for pastors in the area.
Speaking of which, throw up that, Josh, our friend Rich is going to be promoting the show. Y'all know him pretty well. I'm trying to get him back on the show, but I say, hey, how about coming on? Well, I'm going to be doing this week, or I'm going to be on a mission
so
trip.
busy.
I'm on a fundraising gig. Well, like, hey, come on.
Yeah.
Quit big shotting me.
Hang around.
Yeah. No, but my wife loves this station, and
Yeah.
and I've got to know him through the chamber, and he's doing good work.
He is.
He's doing great work.
And-
He has such a heart for wherever the Lord puts him. He has a heart to see good things happen, and so he's been really good to work with us as a nonprofit.
Yeah.
This show is also going to be on 6 o'clock tonight and 1 o'clock tomorrow on the community radio. Now, if you got any advertising, just send it. You've done it before when you did for Walk for Life. You had the ad that came
Yeah.
from Rich, and you could just send it over, or you can make your own. I can. If you did a Facebook reel, I can transfer it pretty easily.
Okay.
I got this. The technology is simple, so you can do that if you want to. If you have I'm sure you do reels still. Don't
yeah.
you?
Yeah, not as much. Like, it's not that I just don't do them that often, but I can do them easily.
Okay. Well, if you do another one, let me know, and
Okay.
we'll run it, and it's easy. But anyway, like I said, 6 o'clock tonight, 1 o'clock tomorrow. So they'll help you out. Also, a couple other nonprofit things are going on. Ongoing thing with Crowley House. I hope they're in a back to school, and now everybody needs this, of course. Now, this is something you need to register for. You can't just show up and because they won't have the supplies if people just dropped in. So if you want your child to have some of these supplies, call the Crowley House of Hope or go on their website and sign up your kid for back to school supplies. And they're going to give them out, about a week before school starts, which is coming sooner than you
It's
think.
so fast.
Yeah,
I was lamenting that today.
Really, most parents I know are dancing with joy when school starts.
I'm glad it's just earlier than normal, and I have to get all those, like, the physical and the make sure this one has the shots, and the dentist appointments need to happen before they go to school, so they don't have to miss.
Your oldest one's in high school now, right?
He's gonna be a senior this year.
Holy moly! I thought he was a sophomore.
Well, he's not. I'll have a
senior.
senior and a freshman this year.
At Centennial?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you're going to be, have you talked about college yet for the older one?
Yeah, he'll probably go to a Bible college.
DBU is a good Bible college.
It is. It is.
I endorse DBU. I've been there. This is my 6th year coming up with them. And they've treated me well. And most of the students feel at home there. Not every one of them does, because it is.
Yeah.
A different environment. This ain't Florida State you're going to,
No, I had a great experience at DBU.
Yeah.
I would recommend it too.
I would, but there's other places. You talking about CFNI?
No.
All right.
There's actually, it's a whole thing.
Okay, then I'll let it go. Actually, that last fall and this fall, I teach a DBU satellite at CFNI.
Yeah, how's that going?
Well, this year, I'll know. Last year was a good experience for me, but it was obvious I was a different type of teacher than what they were used to.
Yes, I believe that. I know that.
They were like, I'd make a couple of jokes, and they're like, "Can we laugh at that?" I don't know. We can. Is that funny? That's funny. Okay, we'll laugh. Anyway, any more ads coming up? Yes, Alley Cat's Back to School Bash on August 2nd from 10 to 2. Alley Cat does a really good job with the community.
Yes.
I've been pestering
They're
them to
such a
sponsor for a while. You
kind
hear you listening to
organization.
me up there, sponsor my show. Anyway, but they're really good people.
They are great.
And so they're going to have a dunk tank with the mayor, so you get your shot with that, and also face painting, temporary tattoos, all that. Of course, my kids will get temporary tattoos. They say, I can't take a bath. I don't want to wash my tattoo off. Get in the tub, shut up. Anyway, there's all sorts of things going to go on that day. So that's on August 2nd. Also on August First, I'm sorry, the night before, you had the Roundup for Riders with the Wings of Hope. And somebody Patsy Dumas is the honorary chair, and we're going to have at the River Ranch. It starts at 6 o'clock, and they're going to have all sorts of entertainment and whatnot. They do a really good job. They were on about 2 weeks ago. And
Yeah.
They do a lot of great stuff with kids with developmental needs and whatever else.
I have not been able to make it to this event, but I've only heard like the best things.
Oh, yeah,
like this is one of the most fun events, and everyone who goes has a great time.
Oh yeah, I've heard it. You go in there and they got country music going on and all this other stuff. And it's a real party kind of thing, but appropriate. Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what's going on in the neighborhood, so to speak, in the next couple of days. I'm going to have Lisa on again, Lisa Boltinghouse, Thursday, since we had that snafu yesterday. What I was told after it was shut down, and Josh had convinced us it wasn't his fault, which took some convincing, wasn't it? No, it wasn't.
I'm going to plead the fifth.
There you go.
Actually, yeah.
No, the building manager here came and said Encore said it would be out till about 3 o'clock, and that this portion of Crowley was down. Now, Otto's joint was still open, didn't have the power problems, but everything probably west of that was shut down.
Was it someone said it was a power line that was down?
It probably was. There's all this construction going on around here, and there you go. So we're gonna have Lisa and her new media fundraiser type person. Oh, I forget her name. Doggone it, because I just met her for a few minutes, and then we're on the air, and then boom, we're off the air. And so they're going to both be on Thursday.
Nice.
All right. So y'all finish this off. Tell us all about what we need to know.
Well, I would love to see you on Saturday from 9 to 11 at Next Step Women's Center. We are going to have a great time. We're going to have snow cones, bring a toy, we're going to have lemonade, and Santa. He's awesome. Bring the kids out, make it a family event of just, we're intentionally giving back and doing something fun this morning, and it won't take up your whole day. It'll be just a nice thing to do.
Well.
So come to Christmas in July on Saturday, and then keep in touch. Follow us at Next Step Heroes, Next Step WC Heroes on Instagram, or Next Step Women's Center Heroes on Facebook, and we'll keep you up to date on when the gala is and how to give for for North Texas Giving Day and all those things.
Oh.
You got anything to add?
No, I'm like on Elf Santa. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just so excited about Santa.
You could have an elf right here. Put a green suit on her, and she'd fit right in.
If it involved a costume, I would wear a costume. But my 5-year-old grandson will be there, so I can't wait. This is one of my favorite events now.
Oh, sure. It's a happy time.
It is a happy time.
Speaking of happy times, you're going to be on the show again, Megan, next week.
I will. I'll be here next week with my husband. We're going to be talking about Bold City Church, our church plant here in Burleson.
That's interesting because, you think, there's all these churches in Burleson, but there's still a lot of unchurched people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, more than you might realize. But so we're going to talk about what goes into that. This is not your first church plant, though, is it?
No. It's a new season for us here. We've been in ministry a long time. We planted a church before and closed a church before. But we, I'll tell you next week. The story's good. You're going to want to hear it.
Sure. That is a step in faith, though. It really is. But there you are. So we'll have you on next Tuesday, the 29th. Yeah, that's the date. I'm getting my dates. When summer comes around and I'm not in school, it's like, what day is this? Oh, crap. I got to go to the studio. Anyway, thank you, Josh, for all your stuff on there.
Anytime.
And not kicking the plug out.
Yeah, it won't happen again.
Won't happen again. Okay. All right. And we will see you Thursday with Lisa Boltonhouse in the Center for ASD.